Bounce this in the club. Although not literally, but like, why have I got like orchestral string? Why have I got strings and harpsichords in my club music? What's going on here? It's a bop nonetheless, and it welcomes us all back here in Twitch and also on YouTube as well. Hello, all of y'all. It is episode 6 in my playthrough of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Still into episode number 3 in the game itself. So case number 3, we just made it to London town, and now we're in the courts, the great British courts of old. We are having a time of it in the courts in the Old Bailey, figuring out how everything works in there. Now watch me load up the file and completely forget where we left off. So yeah, if I have it right at the start of episode 3, what we did, so our dear Ryunosuke and our dear Susato made it to London. To unfortunately report the news that Kazuma would not be able to continue this lawyer study tour of Great Britain in lieu of the fact that Kazuma has supposedly conked it, unfortunately. So we had to report that, but then we thought, no, Kazuma had some very important things, so we said, you know what, put me in there instead. And then as a test, the man of the very important man said, yeah, we can test you. We'll put you into a live trial right now. And if you fail this trial, your client is probably going to get capital punishment. So yeah, that was fun. We can very quickly get a look at our court record right now, so we can have a look at what's going on here. I think this case was all about like what is this episode called? The runaway room or something like that. Something to do with a like an old timey omnibus. You know, the ones these like stagecoach things that people would like ride about in. And there were horse and carriages and such and whatnots. Yeah, there was apparently a murder that happened here, as evidenced by a crime scene photograph. Somebody got attacked and moided in the omnibus. The autopsy report says stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife while journeying in the omnibus. Died due to internal hemorrhaging resulting from that one trauma, from that one stab wound. We already used that one stab wound as a manner of evidence to use against not necessarily the people that we're accusing, but to the jury, because we had a look at the need to win over the hearts and minds of the jury. It seems that early on they like to make up their minds and put the guilty verdicts out there immediately, but we have to win their hearts back. And we figured out how to do so by using way of saying, hey, wait a minute, you said this, and then you said that. That contradicts each other, and then that gets them to change their mind. It was a good time. We managed to figure that out pretty quickly. Also, just a bit of an aside of that. You know, there's something about, I don't know, somebody's favorite, some people's favorite character in the entire Great Ace Attorney series. And something about a Barak Van Zeeks. Something about somebody who's very clearly vampire coded, except just not vampire coded, vampire named. But that's pretty much all there is to that there. So after winning back the jury and being able to continue the trial, we have our supposed witnesses here are going to correct their testimonies and give new ones as to how they let their first round of them sort of slip their mind. There you go. That's the recap. It was long, I know, but just enough time for everybody to come in and get settled down, shall we say. Just got some lunch, yes? I hope that you have a nice yummy lunch, whatever that is. Right, time for the 3 gentlemen here. One of them who's... I keep looking at the stitching of the hat. I'm like, yeah, you need to find a better hobby, my dude. A better career path. Anyway, various misgivings. These guys all have some new testimony. Let's read. Or let's listen. And then we also realized that this, we thought this guy was just an old-timey, old fogey of the London types there, but his name is Beppo, so he's actually from the foreign claims. He's oh god, what's his name in Fawlty Towers? The butler, the manservant of the Fawlty Towers one, who goes like, I know nothing. He's like that. I only carried the 4 passengers that night. I swear it, but well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. Oh yeah, that was one of the contradictions they found from the jury. the math didn't add up with the number of passengers, supposedly, and the fares that the stagecoach man collected from the people. I still have to pay 5 pence for the bus, so that is an interesting piece of testimony and would make more sense because 5 by 4 does equal 20. But anyway, let's see where we else got here. And then lady first. He fiddles is on the fairy did. And then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. Oh, I saw too much. I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands. Oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so. Yes, but I know nothing. Oh god, I forgot the judge looks kind of like Santa Claus, like a Saint Nick. Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. And that's the voice I've given them. Ah, yeah, something about this guy being like one of the most popular characters of this game. I don't know. I don't really see it. I kind of don't really see it, really. Anyway. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cosenage. Is that how you say that? Wait a minute, is that how you say that word? That is very, very old-timey language that you were using. I need to figure out what that means and also how do you even say it. Cosenage. I know I'm putting it into the translate, but then I'll... Oh wait, volume is off. Sorry. Cosenage. That's how you say it. Cosenage. The practice of deception of trickery. Okay. So if you read a book about they contain if it said contain stories of cosenage and disguise and yeah, general deception, that would be what that means. All right, thank you Google Translate, because that gets me that allows me to read or listen to a pronunciation of the word. That's cool. All right, the confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cosenage. I know nothing. Beppo, explain yourself. I am terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The Guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare? It's so cold, and the last round of the days is always half empty. You have been dishonest, coachman. I'm sorry. You're a disgrace, Beppo. A disgrace. And your selfish actions have brought dishonor upon the entire guild. If I may, sir. I had to pay 10 pence on the bus this last week. What? Oh dear me, there's monies going all over the shops. Alright, light voice now for Sasato. A very light voice, light voice. 4 passengers at 5 pence each is... yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently. That's because, my dear Susato, it just doesn't. Nope, that figures. The math is fine. It's basic, simple. It's basic, quick math. 2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please. We have already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely! Do not mind my ears turning into like that of a deer in the savannah, hearing the sounds of a panther hot on my trail. Don't even worry about it. Right! I only counted 4 passengers that night, I swear it. I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. He fiddled us on the fare, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much. I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands. He stabbed him yesterday, I think so. Yes, I think so. I was gonna say, how do you get to see anything? Because, like, you're focusing on driving the horses. That's what I want to know. To be honest, though, I'm sure that is just not entirely relevant in the slightest. Let's just press and see what we get.
Hold it!
Hold it! So there were only 4 passengers in your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4p fare. Is that right? It's impossible to make the last run of the day pay. It was so cold. It was all I could do to tell myself passing out. I'm getting chilblains just listening to you. It was terrible, so I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. But otherwise, I know nothing. Doesn't it, this good man deserve an extra penny per pick up a penguin? You're digging a deeper hole for yourself. Who did that? Thank you, Jess, for redeeming a drink.
We want you to drink something.
I will do so. There's not much water left in here. Maybe the next time I get a break, I'll maybe get a brand new bottle or at least refill this one, maybe. But thank you very much, Jess. And make sure you're hydrating as well, everyone. It is very important. Ooh, it's time for Inside Voice. If only there'd been a 5th passenger on the omnibus that night. Then we would have another suspect. Is that what we gotta point towards then? Try and find evidence of a secret 5th party.
Hold it!
Anyway, let's press this. Hold it! Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5p instead of 4? Well, I paid 5p too, sir. And I just told you that I did. A flat fare of 5p across the board. It's not something to be proud of. The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed, it's gone, dead and buried. I'd have been happy if it had ever existed in the first place. Who knows, maybe we find it at some point and we say, Hold it! This blood-curdling sight, you mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir! That's what I say. Oh, yes, sir! Hello, some sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man in the moment his life is taken. Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed. Oh, gracious! Really? We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. But Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker get gent next to me and take a sharp intake of breath, see? That's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw that horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. Okay, man got traumatized. That's nice. Okay, press you. Hold it! We're being thorough here. So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilda, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him? That's what I said, isn't it? It was bothering me before, this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question. Anyway, there was only 2 of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There's been much talk of a 5th passenger, but as yet 0 evidence. Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty. Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was. So is it that one you want me to particularly try and, get him to do what there? Not long ago, this trial very nearly came to an end. Somehow, we managed to keep our chances alive here. I can't waste this cross-examination. I have to use it to bring some new facts to light.
If you're not careful when you press these witnesses, the danger is that the jury will end up believing something unhelpful, as they did before.
Maybe. But we can't let the fear of that happening stop us from uncovering important new information.
Huh. Yes, you're so right.
I need to pay careful attention here. I don't want to miss even a flicker of a reaction among these witnesses.
Remember, if you happen to spot one of the witnesses reacting in a strange way, don't hesitate to pursue them as to the reason.
Don't forget to pursue them. Yeah, I didn't see anybody particularly do a, like, giant reaction. So if that's what I'm looking for... Everything I said before stands, and then... I think you've got something, maybe, that could throw one of the other people off, maybe? Because I feel like, I think so, I sighed. Okay, hold it. Earlier, you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you?
Oh, yes. Yes, that's right.
You said that the victim was on the floor, and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip.
I suppose. I might have, you know. Yes. But the cart before the horse, maybe.
What's this?
Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses back when I heard the scream from the seat on the roof deck.
Oh, I expect that was me, sir. That's what we can do, a look around. Looks like that.
And when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor, and the knife was sticking out of his midriff. That's right, yes. And the fellow holding the handle was the famous man. Yes.
So, in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all.
I really thought that I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see that the precise moment that it happened.
Hello? Hey! What's with you bending your cane like that? You're gonna wreck your teeth. I'm gonna talk to you before you wreck your teeth.
Excuse me!
Excuse me! Hey, you! Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay? Now you listen to me! I know what you're thinking. He didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh? Are you asking me or telling me? Oh, he's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? There's something about that, I can see the people as well. He witnessed the incident from his seat on the roof of the omnibus. I don't feel like I gotta go back and some days are like some days are, I mean, if the answer says, oh, I guess some days are like that. Some days are like that, yeah, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Or maybe I've got to be like firm and say there's absolutely no chance you saw it. Let me just check exactly what he's saying. Now you listen to me and I know what you're thinking. He didn't really see the exact moment that fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? So if Pepper's saying then again that he didn't see the actual precise moment of it, Maybe we've got to say... Just in case we get penalized for doing this. I think maybe we've got to try and put it to everyone that you didn't have a hope in heck of witnessing this thing. That's what I'm gonna go. That's what I'm gonna gun for. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on top of the omnibus, that is. Oh, vaping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it clear as a Ballarat day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Extra testimony. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man? Blood-soaked hands. But... I'm leaning towards the fact that you saw blood-soaked hands. There was only really one hand that was even remotely had blood on it. And even then, they were covered in gloves. So you mean to say you saw bare hands or something like that? Let me entertain him on that fact, actually. Let me entertain him. Blood-soaked? Well, perhaps soaked is laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Aha! Aha! You fib. You fib. Right there. And you saw that from the roof? Through the skylight? Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had to be give it. I've probably gone through many sort of different accents with this man. And there was a lamp on the side of the carriage as well. There was a lamp on inside the carriage as well. There we go. I can read. So I'm quite sure of what I saw. Miss Banker's last statement. I feel sure there's something not quite right about it.
When you feel something doesn't add up, Miss Naruhodo, that's when you should have a good look through the court record.
Yep. Yeah, already read. Yep. Careful with what you... Yeah, I know. We have gone through these points already. We know what to do. I am the one that needs to put two and two together and realize that you are saying both hands are entirely blood-soaked. One, they are covered in blood, so the hands themselves aren't blood-soaked. And two, only one of them is blood-soaked. Have a look at them, mate.
Objection!
Objection! Blood-soaked hands. Well, I admit that soaked might be laying it on a little thick, but, But anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question. Oh, yes, right. And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there, but as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove. Again, you're gonna ruin your teeth. Stop it. Get some chewing tobacco or something. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. But this is... No! That can't be right!
So, you're the liar here then?
That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said, it was both hands. I seriously hope he's got, like, strong enough dentures to handle that. I seriously hope so. Excuse me. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, It calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Well,
Objection!
Objection! Huh. It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands, it was only one, but the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused. Objection! No! Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands. Which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the courts.
oh, he's getting very scared now. Citibank, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate.
I got news for how the current state of the world is nowadays. There's plenty of prevarication, let me tell you that, Sonny Jim. He's claiming to have no reason to lie, but is that really the case?
Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely.
Something to show this man has compelling reason to lie in this testimony. Let's see, is there such? This time we can actually examine inside the ledger. You know, I never really fully had a look at the ledger of Mr. McGilded. I should probably do that, just in case something turns up. This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets from London's gentry.
Oh dear. Do you really think we ought to look inside?
Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder... Adamant.
I assure you, we will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside.
Well, let's see what we do find. It's so scribbly, I can't read a gosh darn thing of this.
Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it?
Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off.
Ah, goodness!
What is it?
Look at this. Do you see the name here? Bruce Fairplay.
Aha! There's some dirt. We got some dirt on the man.
Should that mean something to me?
It does sound strangely familiar, actually.
Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment.
Oh yeah, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? Oh, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching.
It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course. But this could be very useful information.
Debtors ledger updated. Among the defendants listed debtors is Bruce Fairplay, who would have been due to repay his loan imminently. Hey, guess what? We got some dirt on you, we do. Is that the only name we got in here? Yeah, that's the only name. They're the only ones we gotta pay attention to. Right, is this right here, so evidence does exist. I have evidence. My lord.
Yes, Counselor?
The defense is ready to present evidence.
By Jove! Are you sure?
Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony.
Ah!
Man's not very happy about this. He will ruin his teeth and get a cavity over this.
Very well. I hereby call on defense to present its evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
It's in the debtor's ledger. It's in right here.
Take that!
Take that! This is a list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes. A list of innocent victims crippled by the accused's extortion. The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's just barely worth of being called a debt.
I mean, a debt is a debt. If you're down something, you owe somebody. That is a debt to that person. Do you want to be very, very pernickety about the definition? According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say?
Ah, well, what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGillicuddy were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed him would be annulled. They would cease to exist.
Cease to exist?
Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendants? Yep, man, don't like what we're saying to him.
Order! 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 Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, allow. Ow, my molars. Let me ask you again. And be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Your silence speaks volumes! You did not tell the truth in your testimony! All right! Now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch.
A pinch?
But it makes no difference! I definitely remember seeing blood on Mr. McGillicuddy's hands, both of them!
Objection!
Objection! And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained. So you keep saying.
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Fast. Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens.
Seeing what?
The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think... Yes, I'm almost certain that it was on both of his hands, not just one.
What?
What? Say what? It would appear we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear?
Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last.
Yeah. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here.
I'm doing well in this case. Most things I've got, pretty much, if not close to all of them, without really having to think too much. I'm doing good, me, I think. Okay, what you truly and actually 100% for realsies, no fibsies, no take-backsies, what you really saw.
There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters.
I remember seeing the knife, And I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with bloods on them. I didn't actually see anything myself, no. Not until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. Well, lo and behold, in truth of fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That's really not what testimony is about. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood. Why do you describe it as flesh? Flesh? Girl, what are you saying? The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. Yes, indeed, my lord. How do we break this one apart? Suppose we'll find out. We'll at least get the music started. Because I think we'll have the music on while we take a bit of a intermission and break at this point. For all of you watching this currently on YouTube, do not worry. We will return right back to it. You will miss absolutely nothing. But we do like to cut the highlights out at least for that. But people in the Twitch stream right now, we are going to have our mandated hourly break, run it a bit early, because I think this is as good a time as any to get that done. So I shall be back in a couple of minutes. Do not go anywhere. Yes! Welcome back now. It's time to go. We're gonna find the testimony, and then we're gonna find the contradiction. Yeah! Let's hopefully get that done. Hi! Nice to have you back here. If you're enjoying this in the YouTube channel right now, in the YouTube VOD that we've made, hello from over there. It is nice to know that people are catching up on these. Do let me know if you're liking the video. If you want to leave a like down below, leave a comment, maybe press the subscribe button, and maybe hit the bell as well, because that will notify you if you want to get updates on all the uploads that we do in the future. That is something that you are more than welcome to do. Alright then. So, just checking things. Alright, we're good. So we are trying to... I don't know what we're aiming to try and find here, actually. If I go into history and have a look here... So, something about what the witnesses really saw. Maybe what we're going to do is try and... There can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we would have all have seen. I think it is particularly, you might say that it's the exact moment the stabbing transpired. Yeah. Seeing the knife, I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything myself, not until I heard the scream. The fact remains there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen it. Dude, I think that's the thing we've got to at least press on. I'm not going to present right away because I'm not sure what it is. But if we do take a look at how it all works out... The Jobmasters London head office, London 5th Avenue. Jobmasters, Baker Street, Old Street, at the City of Westminster. Number 418.
The Phoenix Wright Omnibus. That is a name drop to do at that point right there. The foresight of this game to be like, yo, you know there's gonna be a character like 100 years down the line with that exact same name? God, that's mental to think about. But yeah, the thing I've got to, like, point out at this case is to see... That's where the bloodstain is, you can see it right there. How on earth is it possible that you can see that there was nobody else in the carriage when you can't even see the two back seats directly below where you're sitting because the benches on the front... Oh, sorry, on the top, they only face towards the front. So anybody sat at the back here would only realistically be able to see the seats there on that side. Nobody would be able to see back here unless anybody sitting in the front bench was to turn their heads and look down back the way, but there was nobody sat on that bench as far as I'm aware. So there's still every possibility that there was a secret fifth party member responsible for all of this, but we're gonna talk about the benches.
So, this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here.
So people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them? And they have to pay money to do so?
I can't imagine how cold it must feel.
That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment?
Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late.
I mean, there was such a thing as being dragged. I'm pretty sure that somebody did that as a form of punitive measures. I'm gonna have a look in the cabin itself.
Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we?
The scene of the murder, it's horrible. Get in, you wuss. Okay, we are in. Read the sign, read the notice. It's also got that too. The London Fair. Oh yeah, the fair that's meant to be existing in this universe. Can we have a look to the sunroof? It's quite a large skylight, isn't it?
Yes. Quite large enough to offer a good view into the cabin from the roof deck.
And there doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description. So I suppose it can't be opened from inside the cabin at least. Wow. Very idea about that one. I don't know if I'm gonna get what I want from examining the crime scene, but we can always still have a look. It's blood! That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victim's, obviously.
Yes. And that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck.
Would you really stab somebody in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder?
Well, it was after dark. And there was a lamp on in here. So perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight.
Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. It's not planned, you say, in person. That seat looks reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit on it. And only just wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side, really.
Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery, it would be quite impossible for her to climb up to the roof deck, so she would have to be seated in here.
A woman in a kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? Hey, get a little bit of patriarchy in there. That's good. That's good to do. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting what I want from examining the evidence here. I'm gonna press first on what you've got here.
Hold it!
Okay, hold it! And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus. That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over.
Oh yes, I remember I was shivering, it was so bitter. Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place.
Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh? Why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked? That's right, and it's a public bus service for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play. Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down on the warm cabin below. Well, I can assure you I wasn't just looking down, I was glaring long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed. Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylights? They might not have been able to, because it entirely depends on which bench you're sitting on. If you were sitting at the back, you'd be able to see two of the seats from one side, and if you were to sit on the other bench, you could turn around, look down, and see the back two benches. But you can't see every seat, no matter where you stand on the, no matter where you sit on that omnibus, unless you were, I don't know, eyes face pressed to the glass of it. That would be the only feasible way, but then that would be pretty hard. They might not have been able to see everything. That's what I'm going to say. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. That's right. Expose everything. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight in the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right, yes. In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What? By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied. At the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Objection! Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. Can you just... Yeah, I don't know whether to take this as straight Xeno sort of phobia coded, or is it just generally like they would say at this point, make a point to say, maybe they didn't know Japan as Japan at that point. Yeah, it's a bit of a contentious one, this one, the way that they go about the historical accuracy of as many things as they can as possible, down to the most uncomfortable details about it. I know people in my friend groups have already waxed lyrical about it themselves to their own friends and such. But I see what kinds of, hurdles and such you had to try and skip over. Particularly as well when you then localize this back into English from the original Japanese. So, yeah. Lots of contention here in some of the lines. All brought about by him just continually saying my Nipponese friend, because why can't you say my Japanese friend? Is it just because we're in that time period and we didn't know Japan as Japan by that point? Or are you actually being xenophobic? I don't know, I'm gonna stop thinking about it. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. Very well. I will uphold the prosecution's demands. You will identify the area on this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated? It's the back coach, obviously, because... Look at it, okay, we're going to demonstrate here. You're sat on top of this bench here. Your eyesight is either there looking forwards, round about there, and if you're looking down... Unless you, tip over and see, and I wouldn't recommend you do, on top of a moving omnibus on London's wicked, mad, cobbled roads or wherever they were at that point, you could only see to there. You do not have object permanence in yourself or your eyesight to go to see this bench back here. This is where we're going to be.
Take that!
Take that! Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight is as I've drawn here. Ha! Thank you. Basic stuff here. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat... Oh, determined desk slam this time. It's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Oh, we have interesting stuff here. Objection! It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. Oh no, that's straight xenophobia. Even at that time period, that's just straight xenophobia. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. Can you, Miss Naruhodo? I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? Do we have an inkling on that front currently? If I have a look at the peoples. So yeah, very possible victim, Mr. Man we're trying to defend here. Mr. Irish fellow here! I completely forgot he was Irish, actually. Or like that. Definitely not Beppo, because he's driving the thing. Both of these guys are on the front. At this point, I don't know if we're meant to say we have an idea or we don't. Because we can't give a specific name. I know that much. But I don't know if they were meant to say that we have an inkling of who it might be, but then we might be pressed to actually give a name for it. We're gonna go with first... No idea. I don't know where this Eye of an Inkling is gonna go. We're gonna go with that first. I did double check with the safe. I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn my trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was... Okay, so if you are giving me the choice to do this now, then maybe I have made the right decision. And I think the game actually wants me to think here that our defendant was not sat beside the victim, but rather opposite him. Because now I'm going back to how they described how the stabbing went down. It was from the side. Like somebody reached over from the side and gave the man the knife in the stomach. Which if it was done from the side, reached over like that. Yeah, I think we're meant to say that Mr. McGill did. Our defendant was the one that was sat across, obscured from view, so they would have had no idea that you were in here anyway.
Take that!
Yeah, we have to go that way. The music stops. Yeah, I'm figuring things out. Here we go. The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded.
Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, Counsel? That's the name of the defendant!
I see that. I know. You have placed... Jesus! Yeah. If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, which you just did, so why are you even following? Why are you even following with if? It's a case of I have desecrated this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice. Do forgive the discourtesy, because I have just actually desecrated this. It's not a question of if, it's just... I did. What are you going to do about it? Nah.
Lord Van Zeeks!
People talk of these tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of our own. But I see they use the terms ill-advisedly. Dude! Oh my word, dude! What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built. Objection! But that premise may be wrong. What? You done goofed, my friend. All this case is done goofed. If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, Counsel?
The defendant's gloves, my lord. Oh. We're getting them. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claim that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains. Objection! The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night. A third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
Objection! And who was this mysterious third party? Just funny to think about. We always make fun of, like, who is this mysterious third person? Mr. Phoenix writes. We're keeping it going here. Who is this mysterious third person? Mr. Naruhodo. Obviously, the true culprit.
Extraordinary! Order! What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
Objection! The defense's postulation is just that. Nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused. Objection! But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though.
Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly at it. Actors do tend to notice such things, sir. Even bad ones like me. And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First? I'm afraid I don't remember.
And you call yourself a hatter?
Maybe a mad one at that. Do I get invited to your tea party every day, every Merriam birthday?
This style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. Ha! Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled? That's a bit wrong, isn't it? That's not good for me.
He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconsistent. It's inconceivable that Mr. Gilded would have been unaware of it.
Order! There is clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused Mr. McGilded to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Being stifled by a malevolent outside source. My goodness. Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. Oh. If it indeed turns out that the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord.
Should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not?
I mean, he's got to explain his case of, like, you're the one who could very easily tell us who the other man was. Like, you could very easily do so. I think we gotta demand it. I'm like, this testimony, I like it. It's nice. Another!
Yes. We need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth.
The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Yes, I need a little time I need a little time to consider this.
If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say.
Get the man out here, I say.
It would be utterly illogical not to hear the testimony.
When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favourite little park has to say? Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. There we have it. I'm pretty sure I've gone through several different UK-based accents for all of these characters now, but yet to find a consistent one, really. If there's one thing, I am inconsistent in my inconsistency. Very well. Juma, before we get reading, thank you so much for following. I love that very much. Thank you so much for joining me in this adventure. I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. I don't know if you're here particularly for the Ace Attorney stuff, or if you're just here for just finding somebody brand new to see and follow. I appreciate it nonetheless. I hope you enjoy your time here. Do let me know how your day is going if you would like to, but of course no pressure to do so. Feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself around here, obviously. So anyway, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff! Show the defendant to the stand at once. Oh, good. Do I get to voice in Irish now? Is that what I'm doing? Do I get to do that now?
Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear.
At last, from the horse's mouth, as it were. Here we go. Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? Ah, to be sure I have, my lord.
There are now two matters on which the court decides to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police? Explain yourself, man. Big cats, no! 'Tis not in my nature to hide anything at all! Just answer the question, please. I'm already xenophobic against one nation here. Do not make it a second. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all, or keep me mouth shut? But tell us what Mr. McGill did. You piqued our curiosity. You gotta say something. The fine fella representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. It's true! Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You... What?! He abetted the criminal. What a man! Little weasel, I say. Little scurrily little stoat. No, Magnus McGilded, that convenient excuse can't save you now. Oh, I'm truly sorry, so I am, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. Oh, do elaborate us with a good time, sir. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was... Well... Oh, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I'm not in any way involved, you see. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. Lots of people are going, And who was this young child of whom you speak? That... I don't know. You don't know? Hi, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
Objection! We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the courts. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Ah, smoke! Ah, fire! There's a fire! Look, someone's trying to get away! He's doing I can't see anything from the smoke. What is going on? Be careful, Estarado! Cover your face! Bailiff! Don't let the accused escape! Secure the omnibus! I hereby call an emergency recess and show the defendants in custody and clear the courtroom! There was just white on the screen there. You can barely see it. But again, what a twist! We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff, amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Oh, dear me! Well, this must be continued. And it will be right now! Right now, that's what I say. Here we go. Let's go get another drink here before the next little section. Yeah, the twists are getting very, very exciting. Oh, by the way, I've got the folder for the shot. Bang. Here they come, says Fran. Is this who you've been alluding to all this time? If that is the case,
Threaten me with a good time. Here we go! Alright. 18th of February, 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. What on earth just happened in there?
Miss Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened.
Mr. Zato!
I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade. A type of exploding device that releases smoke.
A smoked grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use.
They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long.
But who would have done something like that?
The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently.
Flee the courtroom? Why?
Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear.
A young girl? Then, could it be? Could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about?
My thoughts exactly.
So he wasn't lying. Dare I say, look at the Irish, I say. Oh, wait, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There's so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here.
I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with a young girl.
Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk. And for what possible benefit to herself?
And there's another matter that's troubling me.
What's that?
The 20 pence.
Huh? Oh, She's still trying to do that math in her head, is she? I suppose so.
According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo. He took 4 passengers at night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly.
But now it seems that there were in fact 5 passengers.
Which means the figure doesn't seem to add up again.
Oh gee, she's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defence kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away.
Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say. But it could alter the whole direction of the trial.
We'll know soon enough, Mr. Sato. By howdy, am I not ready for this?
Yes. I know you're not ready.
'18th of February, 1 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Sorry, my nose is itching. I did take an antihistamine yesterday for the hay fever that I go through. It's Lady! There's a young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look! She must have been the one who caused a disturbance before. So yeah, I did take the antihistamine earlier last night. I like to think it helped out the itchiness in my eyes with my mild hay fever stuffs. I don't know if it does something about the nose though. Yeah, thing is with the hay fever that I get, it's usually the eyes that are most affected. And very often I might sneeze a bit more than usual as well from all the pollen in the air. But yeah, my eyes really feel it sometimes. I finally came on antihistamines last night as well, yeah. Luckily antihistamines are still a thing that you can just buy at a standard like Japanese drugstore, just over the counter, no problem. I did have to sort of remind myself, wait, Japan, are you cool with antihistamines? Because I mean, there are plenty of other hay fever sufferers out there. Plenty of people don't like the Kabuin show themselves. So yeah, I had to double check. I had to double check the brand as well I was getting, just make sure that it was actually for antihistamine and hay fever stuffs. I got the right one though. And yeah, like I said, I think my eyes felt a bit better during today. So that's nice. Ah, well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded.
Now then, Lord Venzeeks.
My lord?
I believe you have established the cause of the Smoke-Witch Vale proceedings earlier.
It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade that's all typically employed by the army.
Good gracious, the army! What in the devil's name?
It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery. But she was caught. And now occupies the stand.
Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior?
She's only not saying anything, Judge. Calm your tits.
If I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded?
I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why is it that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that? 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is.
Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You would explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case.
Just what did happen last night? Why does Venzeeks look so unimpressed? He's got start a death stare all of a sudden. And it's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Perhaps I'm gonna keep this in my head and say, Mr. McGilded, this was supposed to be an open and shut easy trial for me. What are you doing? You know what, you can keep your 1,000 guineas as a bribe. Alright, now you testify about the young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up at the fair start. There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. Oh dear. A child, you say?
I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. But from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding the omnibus. Is that correct?
'Tis exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord. I like her socks. I gotta say, I like her socks. I like the entire cut of her jib.
Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Again, he's got the gazelle eyes. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Very, very unimpressed man. Very, very unimpressed, not vampire man, apparently. I took the back seat in the omnibus and brought another bath. I don't see anything wrong with that. Why am I presenting? I don't need to present. Begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. Naturally, that probably would. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet. I sat him up from the seat across from me. I turned to find out where that scream had come from. Bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in the ball, hiding her wee self away. Nout sticking out entirely right here. I guess we gotta press and see if we can get a reaction out of Girly.
Hold it!
Maybe. Hold it! And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either.
You were the first passenger, as it were. I see.
Aye, and that's why I took the back seat as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means, 'tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one from which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease.
And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well.
Okay, this man has not spoken for a while and it's creeping me out. Ah, right. Before we do this, could you explain what Megora means maybe in this bit as well? Shall we see? Hold it! A loud thud, you say? And a scream?
Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise.
So, you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed?
Well, now you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me up and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fella on the floor.
Huh. You didn't see anyone. But at the same moment, you did hear a scream?
Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume? Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. The body on the floor. I must press on it some more. Hold it. You set him up?
The victim, you mean?
That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And wouldn't you know, you wouldn't leave a man dead just lying on the floor now, would ya? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is.
I find that a little hard to believe. He's finally speaking! He is alive, and not a vampire. It's all fine.
Her Lord Francisque! Why would that be?
You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in the carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is.
Oh, well now, as you know, I'm something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead.
No fricking wonder.
So I do try where it's all possible to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Day Nightfall, how you doing?
I should stop the accent because that's going to freak you out. Hi, how you doing? We are Ace Attorneying currently. We are specifically great Ace Attorneying today. And we have an Irish fellow on the docks here, which is why I have this strange accent. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there?
Heavens alive, no! I was always intending to report on it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first.
The whys and wherefores?
Right you are! There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self just do the same?
I mean, well, yeah. The scream he says he heard at the same time was as the thud of the victim collapsing. Yes, I can read. I can read my own thoughts. Don't worry about it. What did I find? What did you find? Press some more. Explain. Elaborate. Hold it. Not like the accent will trip me out. I'm gonna have to do accents for Noah, Uni, Lance, Tyon, and Mio, so yeah. Oh, and Senna too. Don't forget, that's a whole entirely different country accent that we're talking about there. It's like, even for everybody else, you could just get away with like 5 British people, or like just neutral accents, and that's fine. Although you probably need to try a bit more, at least for Uni. And then, or maybe a little bit for Mio as well, because I think her original voice actress is Welsh. And then for Senna, that's just pure straight American. So, good luck with that. Anyway, hold it here. Senna not so much, considering it's basically my own accent. Oh, I mean, fair enough, yeah. Yeah, if you had your lessons done in such a way and you learnt it from that vein, then, you know, that makes sense. Yeah, Mia's voiced by a Welsh actor. Yeah. Anyway, we're holding it here. I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well, now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Good gracious! So, let's probably get the crew toilet humor out of the way first. It wasn't him doing the squeaky farts. Probably. Though if it does sound to be just a squeaky fart, that'll be just utterly hilarious. But I think that maybe on that basis, somebody was hiding, possibly underneath the cushions of the back seats, like they lift up, and you could hide yourself in there if you needed to. That's where I think we might be going with this. Or we could go with the fact that he woke himself up by farting. We'll see. Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd be sitting, thank you. We didn't go with toilet humor. I found there was a wee cubby hole there for storage.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember?
Yeah, of course. This whole bus was submitted as evidence.
This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside.
And that's when I found her! I'm gonna say, before we examine, we'll press the last statement and see.
Hold it!
Hold it! You say she was hiding herself? Aye, that's right. 'Twas hard to see the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, me heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. You're really overacting this. I'm Irish, I can't help but sound like I'm overreacting. Still and all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chinwag with her. The seat opposite? That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir? Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position could all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. You blame Cartoon Network for how you speak in English. That tracks, that tracks. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. A fella's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. It's probably. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not in fact see you at all, Mr. McGill did. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason. Hi, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. He's got a nice case on his sleeve currently, I'll give him that. It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature. And readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl. Well, you don't have to say it out loud. You don't nearly have to say it out loud. I say you couldn't have kept that in your headspace, I mind you. After that, of course, I'm not short. With the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you. I've heard enough. The evidence as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? She's held that pose for quite a while, let's just say. Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She is a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purposes. You've got to pick a pocket or two, boys. You've got to pick a pocket or two. Oh, what's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here? A petty thief? Probably it.
Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Ah!
Smoke bomb.
How dare you! What is the meaning of this? Ah! The girl, she's gone. Open your eyes.
Oh, sorry.
Open your eyes. I'm over here.
Oh, Kay, my friend Kay is gonna love this. I might bring back my Luke Triton to do Gina here, because I think that could very, very well fit for like a young kid or like a mid-teens girl. Like the emote there. What is that? What is that? What does that say? Pew, 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 pew. Oh, it's just the global pew, pew, pew. Okay, fair dues. Because she had a gun.
Good gracious! How?
What was the point in that little sidestep?
I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you say, slipped up and got caught in the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it?
No, not at all. This is a call of lore. We're obligated to the just needed like blue, just needed like green dye all over his face there.
Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do.
Let me guess. You don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs.
Oh, this? Yeah, and this was in the bag I lifted the other day, down where they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best.
Ah! Do not wave that thing in my direction again!
Dear me. I could be having dibs on being... Okay, when our troupe gets around to doing the Silly Voices playthrough of Great Entertainment, I could be definitely having my dibs on doing a Gina. Unless somebody else already has their heart set on it, because honestly, I could very easily like twist a little bit my Luke Triton.
I can do my Luke Triton, Professor. And then very easily give it to this little pickpocket over here. I can very easily do that, you know?
So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question?
Yeah.
It's all right, lass. You can tell them the truth now.
Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said.
The court accept this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question.
Alright. If I have to. If I have to.
And they'll both do it together. We will see about what the girl saw. We'll at least start the beats. Because this is time for another little breaky break. Don't worry in the YouTube. I hope you're enjoying still so far, and you will get right back into the action. No break in between. But for people in the Twitch stream, we will be taking our usual hourly pause, which I will cut then out of the highlights. So we'll be back to it very, very shortly. Do not go anywhere.
Yeah!
And welcome on back to everybody here in not only the Twitch stream, but also in the YouTube VOD as well. If you didn't know, people watching this in YouTube, if this is how you came across me and my antics over here, I record and broadcast these streams a week before they get uploaded to this YouTube channel. So if I give you the VOD command very much again, very quickly, So yeah, if you want to join me on the actual Twitch streams, you can check all the details down below for the Twitch link, and you can watch these a week before in the live broadcast. And if you like what you see over there, you can hit a follow and maybe do some more good stuff over there that way as well. We do the streams 3 times a week usually, and I'd love to see you over there if you can. But of course, if you are enjoying this on YouTube as well, that is absolutely fine. You can of course keep on track with everything that I've done recently in the highlight form on this YouTube page right here. Leave a like down below if you like the video, subscribe if you want to see some more, hit the bell if you want to get the notifications as well. It will all help out an absolute ton, and I hope you enjoy what you find. And now...
Miss Gina over here. So gonna do herself a bit of a testimony, you see? So I snuck inside the carriage before they yapped up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then, after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin, and the scream just came out. It's because of that this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind.
Now, Farewell, why would you help her get away? Yeah, he'll let you go.
I fail to understand why you would let this stray urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I was sat that night. And the cubby hole of which we're spoken is underneath the seat, I presume. Et voila! That sure is a thing you can put somebody in. Yes. It does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. Aye, but of course the wee lass was stuck in there, because I parked myself on the seat for that duration. Ah, so you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined, when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized her actions would result in your own innocence being called into question. Ah, not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt at my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass.
My goodness! What a perfect gentleman!
My lord! This fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of an heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of ever doubting you, sir.
I didn't even need to do anything about that. Because now all the other 5 peoples have said they, that have now changed their mind to say that, you think they're now not guilty. Since you like to,
Study the facts and all that.
you're going to change your mind as well, I think.
With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time.
Hot fire! Saints alive! I should change that system in the future. It's a fire hazard. But all 6 members of the jury consensual and they're leaning to a verdict of not guilty?
Oh my goodness.
Mr. Naruhodo, this... well, it must mean...
It must mean what?
That's we're victorious!
Huh? We've won? Are you sure? I don't want to say this is too soon. It's too soon. Sir, I know your current desk slumming hand has a chalice in it, but lo, did you know? Did you perhaps foresee that on your own person you have a second hand with which to do a desk slam with? Why do you feel the need to then bring up your leggies and do that thing? Because surely, 1, can you stretch in those legs in such a way? 2, is the fabric now going to wreck? And 3, ha! I didn't realize this man was hiding a secret layer of eccentricity to him. By God. Okay. If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray, do forgive the discourtesy.
Ooh.
My goodness! I say what it is. It's a leg!
Oh my goodness!
How uncouth! This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. Huh? Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day. Emotion? Emotional damage! The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good lord! The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? Order! I'm always going to enjoy saying that.
How could such a devious contrivance possibly be affecting counsel? I'm flabbergasted. I'm stumbling my words.
Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend? Huh? Me? Excuse me, I'm Japanese. When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? We didn't look.
Oh no!
Ah, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy.
Sorry.
Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. How this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks.
Is this where he has to bring out his excuse of like, dude, I literally came here, like, this is my first time in the Bailey, I arrived 15 minutes before, literally 15 minutes before this trial started, was literally my first visit to this place, and do you think I had time to check? Is this where he's gonna come clean? I wonder.
Well, counsel, do you have something to say on this matter?
How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? I think the point is to say that we didn't look, and even if we could then go in and look... Let's open the door and go inside. Because it didn't let me try and open this, just in case it wasn't. The seat has a handle, it seems. We can have a look inside. This is a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. Oh, hang on a minute. So hang on there. Was I supposed to be able to open up the seat in my initial examination of this? If I was able to do that... If I was able to do that and I just simply didn't, that would lead me on the path of... I don't know what that... I actually don't know what path that would lead me down. I don't know if I meant to say that I couldn't look, because literally I arrived in this place for the first time 15 minutes before trial started and I didn't have a chance to check over any of the evidence. Or maybe... You are supposed to be that thorough and I just wasn't. This might call for competence save, just in case I get penalized for saying the wrong boo-boo. Do I want to direct... It's this thing, yeah. It's either I be honest about not being able to look. I don't think I necessarily want to challenge what Van Zieks is saying currently. I don't think he's in the mood for it. And that would be just agreeing with him outright. I think the story wants me to go down the ways of saying I've got to come clean and say, yo, I had no prep for this case at all. This was literally sent forth unto me by the man who's obsessed with the time of everything. And he's like, go do this or you're going back home. I think I have done the confidence save. So if it doesn't end up being this, then I know probably to say, well, it was empty. I just didn't think to actually check. Let's go there. It's time to be clean about this. Sorry, I'm a failure. I didn't look. Oh, why didn't I examine the omnibus more thoroughly? In my defense, I didn't know you could if you could. Perhaps I credited you with too much intelligence. It seems, my lord, that this Eastern initiate is as unreliable as wine from the barrel. Ah.
Mr. Naruhodo!
Well, now it seems the argument is moot. And the truth of the matter is there for you to see after all. That there cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? We're gonna get, interesting. I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. Is drinking in the courtroom allowed? Yeah, he's had that decanter for a long time. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the garage. The guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times, so it certainly would have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that responsible. That money-lending fleecer and the pick purse are lying. Ah, bother. Everybody's gonna swing back, isn't they? Ah! I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, a lot of them. What? I mean, why would I voice this when I've got the perfect thing to replace it with?
Oh no!
It's a trick, of course it's a trick!
We're gonna have to get to a point where we have to appeal to them again, aren't we?
Quite so! I must concur here. calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time.
Yes, but every time it's a different truth, it seems.
Okay, I think we were meant to go that way. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord.
What the hell just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem.
I imagine he loves himself for this. That's what I imagine it does. Okay, now we actually will start cross-examining what Gina's got to say. I stuck inside the carriage just before they hooked up the horses. I've got a pop-up, just spare me a moment. Go away, that is my PC, not yours, don't worry about it. It was a right old waste of time. I've got nothing to show for my troubles that night. You can't see a blind thing in that hiding place, it's pitch in there, pitch black. I hear this loud bang, nearly jumped out my skin, and the scream just came out. It's because of that this swell found me. It did help me get away. Fair then, fair then.
Hold it!
Let's see what information I can get out of it. Hold it! So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a jar to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, isn't it?
I suppose through that thick cockneyness she means there's no point spending money to make money. It actually makes sense.
Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief? Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Huh. Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making the 20 to which the cabman testified. And 1 little scapegrace riding for free.
The red conk of a driver always goes for some grub before his last run, see? So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right?
But your hiding place is a storage compartment, full of equipment for the coach, no?
Huh. Oh yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always check all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much.
And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I made all the stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell ya.
It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue. What'd you say here? You said stuck inside the carriage. It was a right old waste of time, got nothing to show, as if to say, you found it! You didn't necessarily find anything there. Okay then, hold it. A waste of time? Why is that?
Well, last night's I'm on my own and I got permit at least some of the time.
I beg your pardon? Did you say God permit?
Oh yeah? Well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while.
And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away?
That's it. Only that night, this guy was sat on me seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck.
Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin?
Yeah. Right, mister?
To be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do ya? Ah, so then Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then. Can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there.
Hold it!
It's pitch, you say? Hold it. So you couldn't see out of the cabin at all.
Not a job. Most days I push the cushion up with my head and look out the crack. Then I can have a butcher's and what I'm gonna fiddle.
I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher.
I mean, I can have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time, the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over my head.
And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out. I see.
Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Hobson's choice.
So why did you just stick to picking pockets in the open then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not laying on, judging her demeanor.
So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I just had to stick it out under there. Nothing else for it.
Then you hear this loud bang!
Hold it!
What, did somebody fire a thing or something? Or did something crash, we'll say? Hold it! All the falling from the ground of the victim. When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor?
Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump.
And you let out a scream involuntarily?
That's right. And then I felt the cushion over my head getting lighter all of a sudden.
Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes. Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood up in order to stab the victim, could it not?
Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment?
Yeah, I saw it.
Ah!
I pushed up the cushion and then a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting at the bloke what had fallen on the floor in the seat opposite. And that matches Miss McGilda's account, of course.
That was very hard to get out the Cockney to get into Susato's voice, so if there was a bit of Cockney twang in Susato's voice, I'm sorry. It was hard to get out of it.
But then, the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking.
Isn't that this swell found you and LTD helped me get away? Go on then. Hold it. And when Mr. McGilda discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place? There we are.
I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all.
Next to the victim, Mr. Mason?
Yeah. The bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. And then the carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling onto me. Oh, how awful. Both me and both my hands got covered in blood. Made me feel sick as a dog.
Oh, both her hands covered in blood. And that must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that... I'm not thinking about this anymore, sorry, I'm speaking this. After that, I believe you talked to Mr. McGilda for a while, is that correct?
Hey, he asked me some stuff. Wanted to know my name and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed.
Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume.
Well, I didn't want no one to see my face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, Get back under the seat! I'll tie you there and you can get away later. All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent.
For one brief shining moment, yes, and wasn't it glorious? And why can't we go back then? That's a shame.
It's clear that they are still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure it would clinch the verdict we want.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. You can't put your finger in something then. What have we got to do here? Because nobody reacted. So I can't then pinpoint their mouths. Scene of the murder is horrible. We already checked out the blood. Is the blood gonna say this? Is the blood on the floor gonna say the same thing? That's blood, isn't it? Oh.
Is something wrong?
Oh, it's just... Well, this blood stain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Van Zieks made no mention of it.
I suppose it does seem a little strange.
Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Oh goodness, is it this way then? Because how could that blood stain be relevant? That makes sense. Stuff that came out, the veno that came out of him while he was bleeding out while sat down. But then bleeding out on the floor here. Huh. Could it be going this way? Could it be going the way of the man, the murder victim? It didn't happen in the omnibus itself. 'Cause yeah, otherwise it would leave this pool of blood here kind of is it there? Honestly, yeah, I think that I think that is a sound line of reasoning here. Because McGilded is the first guy in, chooses this to sleep. Well, technically, Gina's the first one in to hide into the under seat. Then McGilded comes in and takes this seat here to have a nap. Then it's very possible that while the cab is stationary and nobody is the wiser, an already attacked and already bleeding out Mr. Mason with the knife still in his chest or in his stomach stumbles into the omnibus, doesn't even get a chance to sit down, just collapses on the floor first. Thus being the collapsing thud sound that Gina hears in the bottom here, lets out a yelp and wakes up McGilded. McGilded sets victim onto this bench to bleed out and die, unfortunately. Then goes to peek in the underside to find Gina there, and set her on the other side of the bench to then have a chin wag, talk to whatever they talked about. Body collapses, drenches her hands in blood, and then by this point there were some other gentlemen on the top, and they saw underneath there Gina's bloodied hands. One of them screams, and that starts this whole kerfuffle. So yeah, I think that could be the explanation. I think this pool of blood here is the thing that we need to be need to be on about here, but it's just what do we present the omnibus against? Wasn't it? So it's like, what do they actually say about it here? Some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure it would clinch the verdict. Something's bothering me, but I can't quite put my finger on it. That could be where it goes. I just don't know what testimony to present. What I think it could be instead. I don't know. Beckett, darling, welcome in. Am I allowed to say Beckett, darling? Or am I just gonna say Beckett? I can just say Beckett if you want to, but yes, we're doing some Ace Attorney! And I'm trying to figure this out, and it's hard to figure out what I'm meant to do. I think I have a possible turn of events of how this thing actually turned out. It could be entirely wrong, but it's sound logic to me. Screen just came out. You can't see a blind thing that I had in place. I honestly... See, the only thing that would make sense is, like... I don't mind either one. A lot of people are dropping the darling part because it's a mouthful. Yeah, we'll see. I do often try and, like, to shorten names if I can as well, so we'll go with Beckett. How you doing, Beckett? Nice to see ya. We is trying to figure out which point here to try and press against. The only thing... So if I'm going by my line of reasoning, the only thing I could present against is to, like, try and point out what I think the true source of the third could be. The third on the floor, this loud bang. Because I'm like, my theory as to what actually happened here, it's sound, but I don't know if it's the correct theory. That's all I'm saying. We could always try and present and just wing it and see what happens. Nope, that's examining it again.
Objection!
I think I got it wrong. Let's consider the implications. Nope, they don't like it. They don't like that. I did the boo-boo. One implication, nothing strikes me about it. Oh, exactly, there's nothing striking about it. What does strike me is your propensity for the inane, however. Ah, shoot. Oh, I need to clear my head and come at this again from a different angle. Right, so that wasn't it. That was just a dumb... I think that was just a dumb guess on my account here, so bear with me. Bear with me, I'll do it. It's fine. It's fine, I'm allowed. Confidence saving is what I'm sure we all do it at some point. It's absolutely fine. So it's either not that statement or not that piece of evidence that I use. No strikes me about that. It was a right old waste of time. Got nothing to show for my troubles. This is a wonder what other evidence I've got. We never did examine the knife in proper detail, did we? We can have a talk about it, at least. An ornate leather M. Undeniably Mr. Madison McGilda's initial.
And it's beautifully gilded too. It must be very valuable, I should think.
Ah!
What is it?
Look at this M! If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W! You know what just popped into my head? Anybody who has the same brain cell as me knows what just popped into my head there. Because if I then follow with, what does this mean? Oh, everybody knows. There you go, Beckett knows. I Wumbo, you Wumbo, he, she, me, we, Wumbo. When our group plays this, I'm gonna keep this as a back pocket joke.
I've got to repeat that. It's gonna be so good. Oh my goodness.
I love that. I love that.
A W?
Yeah, this is one of those, you know, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it.
I'm afraid I don't know at all. But what I am sure of is that this is an M.
Oh. Well, that idea was quickly quashed. Do I remember where it was from? But it's there in my brain. Part of me wants to say it was SpongeBob. It was a SpongeBob SquarePants episode. Yes, it was. I think it's the episode where they stumble upon the superhero Mermaid Man's utility belt, and they're trying to figure out how it works and be superheroes and be like the heroes themselves or play pretend. And they're trying to figure out what the M on the Mermaid Man belt means, like M for mini, like a shrinkway. And then Patrick's like, no. You gotta. I know what's wrong with it. You gotta change it from M to mini to W for Wumbo. And SpongeBob says, Patrick, that doesn't make sense. What is Wumbo? And Patrick, oh, everyone knows. I Wumbo, you Wumbo, he, she, me, we, Wumbo. Yeah, the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's that one. Couldn't tell you exactly which season, but I think that is the storyline of that episode that it's from. Right, I'm sure there's nothing else to see on the knife, so the knife is not the piece of evidence we need. For sure I think we've got to present it in a way such as that, but... All the SpongeBob humor is good.
Don't you have some other place to be an idiot?
Not until 4. Exactly. Absolutely exactly. I also like the driver's license bit with Patrick and the Mermaid Man villain dude. Oh, yeah, with Man Ray. Is your name Patrick Star? Yep. And this is your driving license, isn't it? Yep. I found this license inside this wallet, which suggests this is your wallet. Makes sense to me. Then take it, it's your wallet! It's not my wallet! Just, yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. After a while I hear this large bang here. After a while, I hear this loud bang, nearly jumped out my skin, and the scream just came out.
Hold it!
I'm gonna press this again and just double check what they say about it. I could have been, I don't remember. It made me jump. You let out a scream involuntarily. Then I felt the cushion over my head get lighter. When the victim got up in order to help the victim, or in Mr. Vampire Man's eyes, to shiv a knife. Did you see what happened at the crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butchers while I had the chance. The Irishman was sitting up to block up what had fallen on the floor in the seat opposite. So back down, it was too late, shouldn't have risked looking. Nah, that's the only way to get it. Only gets it open again. Not about the sunroof. And that doesn't have a door that opens. I don't know what to refute or present this against. So what happens when I get to the end of the testimonies again? One brief shining moment, yep. They're still very unsure. Find some conclusive piece of evidence among the testimony with a clinch the verdict we want.
Hold it!
How, pray tell, did you sneak in? You were in it before you set off. What's the point of spending money to make money? Four paying customers and one stowaway makes the 5 and the right amount of money. Get myself hidden under the seat. Your hiding place is that, full of equipment for the coach. Yeah. There's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there. I always chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. According to the reports who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. I moved all that stuff so I could iron it in the seat.
Hold it!
Most nights you're on your own in the carriage at least some of the time. You would say the omnibus, yep. Any normal run... What did I say again? I say, yeah, nobody's... There's not like a firm reaction to it there. The point is, any normal run the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. That's it, only that night. This cove was sat on my seat from the start. He didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch, I was totally stuck. You were under the seats the entire time when the events unfolded. Right, mister? To be sure, I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion and be certain to find a child. What did that last bit say? Mr. Straw couldn't possibly be the culprit. I actually feel the need to press the first one again and just double check. When Mr. McGilded says his bit in the middle of it, am I able to like give a chase to that one? Like ask him what he thinks about it? No. No, that's just normal. Okay, that's fair, that's fair. It's just... Okay, I've hit my first roadblock of this case, I think. This is, a weird way to go about it, huh? Have I not... wait, have I not properly, Have I not properly, pressed everything here? Pulled you out. I was scared stiff. You dragged me out and sat me next to the seat. You were still bleeding. The carriage lurched. You ended up falling onto me. Both my hands covered in blood made me feel sick as a dog. Yeah. I believe we talked with him for a while. He asked me some stuff, wanted to know my name and what I was up to. Then I heard something from above. Someone screamed. It's the first on the top deck. The officers were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, get back on the seat, I'll see that you can get away. I'm just not I am not sure what to present, or what to press, or what to counteract with.
Hold it!
Can't see a thing in there. Let's have a look at this. You couldn't see out at all. I have a butcher's at who I'm gonna nick from. Yeah. The passengers plant themselves opposite. Yeah. This here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. He wasn't able to push the curtain to peek out. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. It feels so much.
Well, no.
I could have sworn this didn't happen when we pressed this earlier, or maybe I just clicked ahead far too quickly in a way. But we gotta pursue this now that we have finally found our way through. Spare me a moment. Put it back. Okay, right. We gotta pursue this.
Excuse me.
Why are you laughing, Mr. Man? Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. 'Twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad, shut up in the dark. 'Twas terrifying, so it was. I see. Yeah, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now. Don't tell anyone, though. I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well.
Yeah. I suppose it does. Maybe.
Huh? Miss Lestrade! Did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps?
Nah. Not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring.
But Chambers, there's no need to tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp! That's, There were some words. There were certainly some words.
What a pity. If only Mr. Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a new vital clue.
Yeah. What do we make of that last statement of hers? Profoundly important, or is it insignificant? Specifically saying, did you hear anything unusual apart from the snoring? Well, I mean...
Is it?
Oh, I think it might be that you want me to think about then. The only sound that Gina hears is snoring. And rather conveniently, she either doesn't remember or is choosing to omit the fact that maybe she should have heard something else from all of the other people boarding onto the thing. So maybe we're gonna say this statement is important, so we've got to add it to the testimony. My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important.
Profoundly important, but all she said was that she heard nothing.
Yeah, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it.
Yeah. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern Mind Council. Nevertheless, Miss Jean Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that large statement, please.
Okay, just one sneeze.
What? What, supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. But it won't work on me.
That's right, insult the judge. Always a good move. Okay, I was training my ears to work out what was going on. All I could hear was snoring. Press on that first, before we think about what to present against that. So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hid yourself?
Not exactly, no.
Sorry?
Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw this swell getting on, I got my head down so it didn't notice me.
And Mr. McGildy sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct?
Yeah! Would you, Adam and Eve it, eh? What a mug!
Would you, Adam and Eve it? Would you believe it?
So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though he stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. So I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs at market. Snoring like an old dog he was.
Huh. Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? So if it doesn't add up, you are trying to... Are you specifically trying to listen for something here? There was no one in. When I saw the swell getting on, it got my head down so it didn't notice me. All I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out of there as soon as he leaned. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. Huh! That's the bit that's got us hung up. So, thus, it doesn't add up, this! Miss Lestrade, what you've just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts.
At odds?
Are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I had feared. I will elaborate on this observation of mine after we come back from another quick break. Do not worry in the YouTube videos, we will be right back to it after the fact because we always cut out the highlights after we cut out all the breaks. But for people in the Twitch stream right now, we're going to have our last little break of today and then we'll do a little stretch of some more afterwards. I'll see you in a couple of minutes. And we have returned. Do not worry for people in the YouTube videos. I know it looks like we've skipped a screen because we have, but we have not skipped that many screens. This is literally the next screen after we left off with. So, yeah, sometimes when I alt-tab out of the window I'm playing in, sometimes it likes to still register that as a click, and so it'll just, I don't know, move on to the next button or do something with the menus or whatever, and it'll skip through to the next bit of dialogue. So it's a bit annoying, but luckily we missed nothing. That is fine. I hope you're still liking this on the YouTube. This is probably going to be our last little stretch, and then we'll find either the end of the case or a suitable place to call it. Let's see. Let's get back into the business. Just bear with me as I do this first. There we go. So Van Seeks realized it too.
Council! I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least.
Yes, my lord.
I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the courts.
Alright. Let's go again. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGildet snoring. But think, Ryunosuke, think! As I get comfy in my chair. There's something else she should have heard. Yeah, it's pointing this way. If she heard nothing but snoring, how did she hear literally nobody else either get on or out of that omnibus? She should have heard the victim going in, I think. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. At this point, I'm not even needing my saving because I think I'm sure of what I'm picking on. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on that night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person. Mr. Victim himself. How and when did he get onto the bus? Eh? We will confidence save just to make sure. I know I probably shouldn't need to, but you can't help but say. You can never be too careful sometimes. But you should have heard the victim.
Take that!
Take that!
Prize-fired Mason?
Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus.
My gosh! Order! Explain your reasoning, Council.
Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct?
Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I?
And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGildet.
That it was, not at all in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight.
So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time.
Did I not just hear as much? I wasn't travelling with anyone else, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure.
And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all?
Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for this swell to leave.
In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage?
Ah!
We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about how she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts.
Ah! Oh, me apples and pears. Oh, no.
Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed.
Lord Van Zeeks!
Yes! He knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. Yipes.
He's dead right. How could the victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever.
And this girl was a pickpocket, let's not forget that.
Oh no, Granny, no! Granny, why? Not like this!
Oh. She didn't even say anything.
I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she had some rather naughty ways. She's just naughty girl, but I must say,
I can't abide liars.
And neither can I. Mr. Foreman? I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways, but I must say I cannot abide liars.
Poo. Well, it's still 5-1 at least.
Ah!
Mr. Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty.
Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me.
Oh my god, he actually took a drink.
Ah, yes. Very refreshing.
Ah! Ah! What you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern?
This is carnage. It's perfect. Juror number 2 is the only one left.
Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going.
I know. If we can't find a new way to convince everyone that Mr. McGilda's innocence, the judge will rule and we'll have lost.
I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen. But those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it! Hold it!
Just stop for one gosh darn second and let me live, please.
Yes, the witness's last statement seemed to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What are you saying?
Counsel!
I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean?
Counsel, I will not tolerate your attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once.
When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witnesses in the stand.
And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage.
If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus?
Random BS go, is it?
There is only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage.
Definitely not in there already because he had to have been. What was that? So. Yeah, something about that. There has to be some kind of another way to get into the omnibus, not using the main door. Something very, very secret indeed. Let's run with that. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way. Objection!
I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. It feels like the Bailey sort of grows in size to accommodate whenever we see the frickin' omnibus. Is this room actually stretching, or is this just your imagination? Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other has only windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door. Objection! Confidence slam! But there could be there's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes, one other way inside that is... Excuse me, one other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Okay. Alright, Counsel. The defense will identify the location to the court. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin? We're going this way, aren't we? We are going this way. Oh, goodness. Craziness, craziness here. So, let's possibly formulate something. Out from a building, as the omnibus passes by... Murder happens there instead. Victim falls out of said building through open door, open window, whatever. And it should be that the omnibus arrives perfectly in sync for him to either fall into a left open omnibus carriage, omnibus skylight window, or to maybe crash through it. Or potentially murder did actually happen on top of. And he falls through like that. Ugh. Some way, I think this is where we're being led to. He fell in from the roof. I think this is where we're going.
Take that!
Take that! The answer is obvious! It could have only been the skylight! I say, the skylight? Look at that.
Objection!
Look at that gay. He's so confident over there. Objection! Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However, objection! The skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
Objection! We'll throw these objections as we need. So you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brained theory? Both Mr. McGilded and Miss Lestrade said the same thing in their testimonies. They each claim to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which has already been explained. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with a dagger. Yes, it has. But would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise that the witnesses describe? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact. Gracious! Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
Objection! You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yeah, that's true, but... Hold it! Don't tell me Irishman is gonna say... save the day here with something. Mighty humble fella, make a wee comment here. Mr. McGilded? To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof had testified before, said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not such a case of not them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellers do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would yous not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Oh, my goodness! Surely not!
Those two chaps on the roof? You meet the one who stuck that knife in the man were...
Ah!
They're back! Hold it! Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer? Are you okay, sir? Galloping like mad.
You rotter, he said! You rotter! What are you insinuating?
This is a flaming outrage! I've got a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute!
He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said! And so will I!
Mr. Fairplay! You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker!
And me, very angry at her!
Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts, it's a disgrace, it's scandalous, it's my teeth! I protest in the strongest possible terms!
That's right, I protest too! About you rotten scoundrel!
Well, this is madness.
Order, order, order! This is not the time, witnesses! I will not permit this wanton invasion on the stand! Return to the anteroom at once! This is beyond reason, my lord, and it's outrageous! It is very hurtful, you know!
My lord, if I may comment...
Go ahead, Lord Van Zieks.
It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to... It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt, or intimated their criminal guilt. I can read words of antiquated nature. In our British courts of law, that is what's termed a baseless accusation. I know I was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought.
Oh, what are we wasting time for? Get them to testify!
I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another.
If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it all at once. What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo?
The spectators in the public gallery are... they're in a complete frenzy.
Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First.
My lord.
You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense.
Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keeping pushing forwards. That is certainly a sentence to say. And while these friends are babbling away to try and make up some kind of more testimony that we will eventually get around to,
Unfortunately, we have to wait until the next episode for that. I am going to be calling it and wrapping it up here. Like I said, we only just did a little bit extra after the fact, because we haven't quite made it to the end of this case. It's clear there's a couple of more bits to do. I think we can come into this, and next time we play this, wrap them all up fairly quickly, and then get on to episode number 4 right there and then. But what a compelling case this is turning out to be. Very, very exciting, and almost all of it, barring one rather massive roadblock, I was able to actually figure out kind of all on my own, which I'm very, very happy about. Yeah. Let's see if I can do much the same when we come back to this next time for the conclusion of the mystery of the runaway room, as it were. We shall find out how and when and why from picking apart their testimonies, which they will present in the next time. We'll see how this wraps up. You in the YouTube and you in the Twitch stream right now, you have been wonderful watching this here. A reminder, if you're in the Twitch thing right now, okay, you're just going for it, I assume. Well, I suppose in that case the testimony has started, so we could save at this point, I guess. I can probably definitely tell that the music is going to be testimony time, so we've got to figure out that, and we can have a look and say that this is a testimony refuting the accusations, and we will figure out what they're all up to after the fact. So yeah, so as I was saying, if I am going to be allowed to move on here, thank you. As I was saying, people who are watching this in Twitch right now, you will be able to enjoy this broadcast on the YouTube Laura Petal VOD channel a week afterwards. By which time, as soon as the video is over, you might be then able to hop on back over into the Twitch stream to catch the next live stream. As it happens, we always do 3 times a week, as we say, here on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That is our usual schedule for the time being. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube as well, thank you for joining in. If you have just finished watching this, like I said, hop on over to the Twitch again, because I may very well be live doing a thing there as soon as this has done its upload. But of course, check out all the stuff you need down in the description, and all the important links are going to be there. And I hope that you like this video. Subscribe if you want to see some more. Hit the bell to get the notifications. Same on Twitch as well. Keep the good support going. Thank you to all of my lurkers. Thank you to all of my chatters. And thank you to all of y'all watching this here. I hope that you stay and stay awesome. We will see you the next time for some more Great Ace Attorney adventures. Until next time, take care of yourselves.